What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 172 of Ghosts in the Night, a paranormal and true crime podcast. I am Phil, and I'm sitting next to the lovely, the scrumptious, the beautiful, the sexy Travis.
Did you mean to alliterate that much?
No, I was riffing off the top of my head.
You forgot tasty, voluptuous, buxom, purely passion-filled. I popped a pea just to see if I could get it to peak.
Peak. Yes.
Pea poppin'.
But tonight, for episode 172, we have a treat for our wonderful listeners.
Oh, you know what a treat? You go outside, go pee, go party outside, get a treat.
See what I put up with, people.
God damn.
What?
My car is kind of loud, but holy fuck.
But tonight we are doing...
I can hear that, feel that dude's subs in my eardrums. I'm not even kidding.
Good news is the mics aren't picking them up because I can hear them in the headphones. But tonight, for 172, we are doing vampires. Now, I've covered a little...
Phil, I wear headphones when we podcast now.
I'm
going to get a pair. They're not going to have any audio going to them, but I'm going to wear them.
Well, when we do an interview, you'll have to. Or
I know, I got to get a pair with a longer fucking...
When our good friend and loyal listener, Tyler, comes on via the phone, you will have to have a set of headphones, or this will be a one-way conversation between me and...
Or we take that as an opportunity where I don't wear headphones and I just guess what he says by your reaction and I throw in my 2 cents.
That could be entertaining. But tonight we are doing vampires. I love me some vampire talk. Everybody loves vampires. Fuck that zombie shit. That's boring.
I mean, zombies are cool, but I mean, once COVID happened and it wasn't a zombie apocalypse, I feel like everybody lost their boner. I still don't know how the fucking Walking Dead is still on TV.
I think isn't this its last year, I think this is the last
I fucking hope so. Like, I really liked that show for a while, but once we got to an old African-American male with a fucking tiger, fuck off.
So, yeah, I used to watch the first 4 seasons or so. But it was,
God, watching it, like, I went back and watched it again, like, when I was not that far in, and seeing that first scene from, like, the pilot episode when he walks through the park and that obviously, that person who's obviously buried, like, up to their stomach and then zombie makeup on top of that, like, to look like a half a body. I watched that and I was like, oh, I wonder how they did that half of a zombie body that's not actually moving, it's just clawing at things. They totally could not have buried them like a small child at the beach.
Yes. I don't know.
Check out the beach water park with pools full of kids' piss. Just like R. Kelly's fucking bathtub.
I just think, personally, vampires are much cooler and much more...
I'm more of a werewolf guy myself.
Well,
but there's better content and film and shit for vampires than werewolves.
Right. But it's just...
I think that's what makes werewolves cool, though, is like they just seem to have more natural mystery to them because people haven't, like, jumped on that bandwagon quite as much. Unless, of course, we're talking about werewolves that are related to vampires in film, like Twilight and fucking Underworld.
Underworld's been on a lot this weekend. I've watched...
Well, yeah, they're probably trying to make up the money they lost on the last, like, 3.
You know, the last one wasn't horrible.
I didn't see it.
Blood Wars was not bad. Awakenings was horseshit.
I don't know. It's like, what could we compare it to? I don't know.
But vampires are much cooler than zombies. And plus...
What about the Swamp Thing? That's a fucking underrated old spooky movie. I don't even know what to... I guess just scary movies. I don't know if they...
Yeah.
Are they horror movies back then? Monster movies. We'll call it that. Yes. Somebody needs to pull that back around. Because the Swamp Thing was fucking pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. It was ahead of its time.
It was basically the Frogman.
Yeah. But I think if all of these creatures were real, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. We're going to get into that deep in the research here for this episode.
Deep.
But if they were, let's just say there is 100% proof, and they are vampires, zombies, werewolves are all real.
David Miller loves Swamp Things. I gotta stop saying, fuck it. I was gonna say I gotta stop saying people's names on here, but if your full name pops up as a comment, I'm sorry, it's gonna be said.
We'll work on that, but
we can always bleep it out on the RSS feed if we need to. Just let us know in the comments.
And
then I'll say your full name again when you comment it back.
But if these were real, out of all of them, zombies would be the least terrifying.
See, it depends because it's not the ferocity of the zombies. It's they get you with the numbers.
True.
Remember, people, always check the back seat. Double tap
Yes. Okay.
from Zombieland.
Yes,
Double tap his hands. Those are the two best. Like I feel like you can pretty much survive with just those two rules.
probably.
And what was it? Like always have toilet paper or something like that?
I don't. It's been so long since I've seen the first one. Since I've seen the first one, I've watched the second one not too long ago. But
I've never actually seen the whole second one. I've never every time I've tried to watch it, I've never gotten to actually watch the fucking thing.
I mean, some of Woody's finest work.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space is also a classic. We could do that. Let's take a month of just B flicks that we watch and make fun of. We'll do Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Trigger warning, I know this is a bad word now, but there's one called Ticked Off Trannies with Knives. It's a roller coaster ride. Hobo with a Shotgun is fantastic. Rubber, about the killer tire. All of the Thanksgiving series. Teeth.
Are you gonna throw You're gonna throw Twilight in those?
The girl with the teethed vagina.
We're gonna watch all 55 hours of Twilight Saga.
I just don't get it. Like it's literally like it's the same movie over and over again.
Yeah.
They just have slightly different problems. But other than that, it's I love you, Bella, or whatever her fucking name is. No. And then look at my family members with their sparkly skin and their crazy eyes.
I do like the concept.
Puppet Masters is a fucking good one too.
When it comes to Twilight, I don't mind her take on vampires. You know,
The author?
Yes, the author's take on vampires.
Speaking of, I need to hit up that author about doing the show from Instagram.
Okay.
I think she just released like her 10th or 12th book or some shit like that.
Because I am fascinated when it comes to vampires.
And that Ghost Inspector guy.
I'm fascinated when it comes to the people's take on vampires. You know, the whole like Twilight. I liked the fact that it wasn't they burst into flames.
Yeah.
In daylight, they become diamond like whatever. I mean,
I like the interpretation where they can enter the sunlight, but that was fucking stupid. They're sparkly.
Well,
like,
yes.
what the fuck? What is this? Is supposed to be vampires and werewolves? This isn't like this isn't people that are based off of who's that fucking lady's name that was like that's super popular with like kindergarten through 4th grade girls that makes like the notebooks and shit like that where it's like the big cute cartoony killer whales and the unicorns and it's all just pinks and blues and purples.
Yes. But I love
the Swamp Thing threw a Jeep off the ground and that was badass. Yeah, well, that's probably why we never heard from the Swamp Thing again. Fucking the Joker flipped over a 53-foot tractor trailer in a movie, and what happened to his career?
Yes.
R.I.P. Heath Ledger.
I love the origin stories of vampires because there's so many. It's like, but Anne Rice's, the Vampire Chronicles is by far the best. Because there is some moral dilemma when it comes to...
Queen of the Damned still sucked.
The movie blew major chunks.
Yeah.
The book was fantastic.
It's like I said, like Queen of the Damned would have been cool if it wasn't part of that saga or whatever you want to call it. If it didn't have so much to live up to, it would have been all right.
Yeah, they knew...
If they would have somehow tied that into being a Blade film, it would have been just fine.
Right. But when you're coming off Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Christian Slater, and... young Kirsten Dunst, it's not going to compare. They didn't have the firepower.
You did this to me, Louis.
But I do like the moral, in Interview with the Vampire, the moral conflict that is in Louis.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt's character, which is in Twilight,
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Edward or whatever. He does have a moral conflict.
Batman.
He does. I heard that shit blew.
It's also like 3 hours long.
I heard it sucked major balls. Woke as fucking shit.
It's fucking Batman. Like,
Anyway.
It's got to be dark and gritty.
Yes.
So I remember everybody was giving the Joker not Heath Ledger, with Joaquin Phoenix a bunch of shit. I thought that was fantastic. It's the first time they really definitely the first time they made a feature-length film that dove into why the Joker is the way the Joker is.
Right, and I love that kind of shit. The prequel type stuff to find out.
And I think it could potentially bring a lot of light into the mental health problems of the world.
Yes, but getting back to
They
vampires.
stabbed the fuck out of that guy's throat too in front of the midget. Sorry, little person.
Getting back to
The human lawn dart.
Getting back to vampires. I think if vampires were real,
We'd be fucked.
and you could physically turn to a vampire from a human, not just vampires as different species, which we'll kind of talk about here later on.
Because that's where the line gets muddied.
I would think if a human being can be transformed or turned into a vampire, there would be some moral issues. Now, some wouldn't. I mean, some, Jeffrey Dahmer, he'd have a rock hard penis if
Morbius.
he turned into a vampire. But I think any common person that would, if these were real, get turned into a vampire, there would be a moral crisis.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's fascinating about the vampire. I think that's why vampire stories are much more intriguing to me, anyway, than, say, zombie stories. And even werewolf stories. I mean, I love the werewolf. Same
Well,
thing.
that's the problem with all of them. That literally, from a literal scientific standpoint, none of them make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I enjoy them. Don't get me wrong, but what the fuck? I'm dead.
Yeah, but I think that's what separates, werewolves, werewolves, vampires.
Night of the Living Dead was a classic too.
Yeah, from
We should do that.
we
Not to interrupt you, but those old black and white horror movies, monster movies, were some of the best ones.
yeah, but
You know what I mean? Because you the level of misunderstood nature of all of the shit, and then thinking back to the time when those came out, when everybody was like, "Oh, Tom said something against the church, he's gonna burn," and then you got, "I'm Dracula." Oh, speaking of, I think 2 days ago was the 100-year anniversary of the release of Nosferatu.
really.
Well, that wasn't the name of the movie, but
I think the moral dilemma is what intrigues me about vampires.
the world works in mysterious ways. We're doing a vampire episode almost 100 years to the day after I think the first vampire film,
I think so.
because it was still silent. That's a fucking good one. You ever watch the movie they made about the making of that movie?
With William Dafoe,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen all of it.
It's good. It's a good inside look.
He went real method, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, still one of the most terrifying movie vampires, even 100 years ago.
Which
That guy was fucking horrifying.
we are going to dive a little bit deeper into vampires here in a minute. We're just shooting the shit right now. But another, Salem's Lot, that vampire in that movie was taken from Nosferatu.
The Littlest Vampire with Jonathan Lipnicki.
I don't think I've seen that vampire movie.
It's not good. It's for children. Or I think, what's the one? I think Mom's Dating a Vampire. Some fucking Disney original from back in the day. It's so fucking stupid. It was basically The Lost Boys.
Okay. So before we get balls deep into this vampire shit.
Balls.
I said balls. Any other business you want to take care of and shoot shit about before we...
Fuck that European guy that apparently is not a fan of us drinking Coke and alcohol, and in his words, quote, gross obesity.
Talk for a minute.
Oh, are you going to go get some Coke and alcohol?
I don't have any Coke.
Well, I'm drinking water now. It has nothing to do with him. He can go fuck himself with his fucking Shaggy from Scooby-Doo goatee that he has and his long hair. He looks like... I can't remember his name. I mean, at this point, I really don't even care about this guy. I would actually put his fucking socials out there if I could remember them, but I don't remember them because nobody remembers them. But he looks like... what's the guy's name? The drummer from Foo Fighters?
David Grohl? Oh, no. No, Tyler or Taylor.
Taylor something, the blonde guy. If you put him on meth for 4 years, that's pretty much what this guy looks like.
But he didn't like us drinking and...
Yeah, he is also a music producer, and I saw a picture that he posted of his little production area. It was like those fake wood panel sided fucking speakers from back in the day. And I'm like, man, I get starting from the bottom, but don't come around here throwing fucking shit around like you're hot shit. Nobody cares. Nobody likes you.
Do we know his name?
No. I don't think anybody does.
Screen name? We don't remember
Nope.
screen name. Well, for you who left that comment, this is for you, motherfucker.
But yeah, he literally used the term gross obesity.
Smooth.
And you know what?
Like your mama's vagina.
I don't
Whatever
know.
your name is, dude.
I don't know. I'd imagine it looks like a fucking like a pricker bush. His mom's vagina. You know what his mom's vagina looks like? Probably when the Demogorgon opens its mouth from Stranger Things. You know, like an Asiatic tulip, but with the teeth of a large red piranha.
The predator from Alien, or a predator,
or there's some. Or they started doing that. There's some fucking like survival dinosaur game where you play dinosaurs and they're like adding in new ones, like new T-Rexes that have that thing. Or the Pomeranian from Blade 2 or Blade 3. Triple H's Pomeranian.
Oh, yeah, and, yes.
That's exactly what this guy's mom's fucking twatipus looks like. Duck-billed twatipus. That whore. Fuck you and your mom.
So you don't like us drinking and you don't like Coke.
He looks like he loves Coke, just not the kind that comes in a red can.
If we had a big fucking Scarface pile of cocaine.
Yeah, he looks like he loves doing Coke, lines of Coke off of like donkey dicks that smell like Taco Bell shit.
Well, here's my philosophy.
Am I supposed to be drinking all of this?
No, just take a shot. Don't drink all of it.
That is a shot.
Don't drink all of it. Well, you can. Drink it all. Fuck, I don't give a fuck. Down that fucking... So that was for you, fucktard. But I say for all... And
Oh, God.
I'm going to sit this right there for him to stare at.
How long has that been sitting? That was real alcohol-y at the bottom.
That was the one you bought. That was since December. Oh, no. So that was for you. Thank you so much for your comment.
It has been since December, hasn't it? Yeah, that tastes real like,
I think you got
regular alcohol-y at the bottom for some reason.
I think didn't you get that for me for my birthday? So that could have been pre-Christmas.
Holy shit.
But that was for you, buddy.
No, I didn't get you anything for your birthday.
Well, you bought this.
Oh, yeah, that was from, I got it as I think a gift exchange thing. It was part of a gift exchange.
You regifted shit?
I wasn't going to drink it. Not by myself, at least.
Oh, that's okay. But, buddy, we appreciate your comment, even though it was bullshit. It was stupid.
Yeah, hopefully if for some reason he's watching this, it's all in good fun.
It's fun. It's funny. We enjoy doing this.
And yeah, I am fucking fat.
Well, we both are. And that's okay.
And you're anorexic, and that's okay. Not by choice. Not making fun of... Anorexia is a real thing, too, by the way.
But,
I just feel like I have to cover my...
fuck up. We appreciate your view and your comment, because you know what? To make that dumbass comment, that means you did have to view it, and you did take in the surroundings of what we had around us.
And don't act like you don't want to fuck me. I'm thick with it. I'm like the male Asian Lizzo.
All right, you ready to get into vampires hard and heavy?
Phrasing. Boom. Yeah.
I gotta chase that shit down a little bit. You're right. There's a little alcohol-y.
Yeah, not in a normal fireball kind of way.
All right. Now we're going to talk about Vampires in America, the documentary series, and I'm using that documentary very loosely.
We have to make a whole backdrop of all the alcohol that we've drank.
That's what we're gonna do.
And then I'll find him and I'll DM it to him and be like, "Suck my dick, you fucking wannabe Jarl Borg from Vikings looking he pussy."
Is that what's the Tyler? Is that his name? Is that the guy screaming?
No, she's making fun of Celtic Mom 2 or whatever the fuck, the one lady that I went off on.
Oh.
Because honestly, while we're on that subject, she's the one that pissed me off the most. She pissed me off the most because she's like, "What's with the language? Do you think you're cool?" Like, no, bitch, don't come around this podcast in this stream if you don't want to hear cussing. Like, I understand not everybody cusses, but I fucking cuss. In my fucking First Amendment from the United States of America, because this is America, we speak American, we don't speak Mexican. We don't speak none of that shit around here. My First Amendment right says I'm allowed to carry guns, and my second one says I'm allowed to talk a lot. You see why it's funny? Because I know that that's wrong.
I know. That's what makes it funny. People don't.
Everything has to be serious on the internet.
Yes, so.
How did that peak? Why am I peaking so bad all of a sudden?
Because you're all over the fucking place.
Well, I've noticed if we come in at the same time, it's like
It's going to peak a little bit.
Instant.
But we appreciate.
Which Phil and I always come in at the same time.
Yeah, very quick.
You got about 46 seconds if you combine us.
Be the best 30 seconds of your life, damn it.
At least the sweatiest.
All right, sexual connotation. Where was I?
Okay,
All
vampires.
Right. Vampires. Now, we will get to the.
We had like 15 minutes of actual vampire shit, 15 minutes of movies, or 10 minutes of movies, 5 minutes of rant, back to vampires.
We will get into Vampires in America, the show on Travel Channel.
Yeah.
Which I think.
Let me tell you, History, Travel Channel, and National Geographic never get bad reactions out of me, ever. Fuck you, Dragon.
Yes, but we will get into that.
And your fucking
shit,
5 o'clock shadow.
That horse shit documentary. But I will say this, it's kind of a foreshadowing. I do think they said some decent things that I could.
Don't get see, and we'll get into it, and I will preface it and foreshadow. Like, it's not unenjoyable to watch entirely. It's not like just a complete fucking abomination on tape. I'll give them that. It's better than fucking Dragon from Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes. But
the guy that is supposed to be the head of the security detail, but I'm pretty sure he uses his fucking thin-ass beard to scratch his lover's ball sack.
Okay. We will get...
That guy really pissed me off.
Obviously. We will get into that. We will kind of review that...
What if I can get her to fight me?
That documentary series or show episode, whatever
that thing.
That abortion via...
I don't know what to call it. Like, I don't even know where that falls in the realm of film genre.
We will get into that towards the end of the episode. We want to cover a little bit of myths and the...
What if they can hear this?
They can't, because I can hear it. The start of vampires. Where did this legend, where did this myth come from? What is the origin stories of vampires? Now, I picked two. There are countless origin stories, but everybody knows what a vampire is, basically. An undead person, or undead creature. I don't want to use the word person. An undead creature that lives...
An unholy creature of the night that feeds on the blood of the living.
Exactly. They need our blood to survive. They feast upon our...
Well, they need blood. Not depending on what storyline you follow, they don't necessarily need human blood.
But as
they're the hemoglobin trotters.
All the elites will tell you, adrenochrome is much better than rabbit blood. So human blood is like the crack. It's like the Hershey Kiss, the Reese peanut butter cup of blood.
I don't know, but now that you've said adrenochrome, I guarantee you, if vampires are real, they get their supply from fucking Wayfair.
Yes, or we're getting kicked off YouTube. But everybody knows about what a vampire is. Now there's blood sucking. There's
energy vampires.
Which honestly, of all this
shit,
all this cluster
fuck
of bullshit wrapped into a bowling ball of diarrhea and vomit. Energy vampires.
I like it.
Energy vampires.
Okay, I like it. Picasso.
Energy vampires. I can get behind.
Oh yeah, because I feel if that's a real thing, I probably am one.
I think, but
because I feed off the energy of a room like a motherfucker.
I think we all feed off each other's energy.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, is it of energy vampires or just a human?
Yeah. So by definition, we are all energy vampires because we've all been around people who charge us up, who bring us joy, who we feel better around, and we've been around people who drain us. We feel like we just went on a 30-hour marathon fuck session. Who are we kidding? Neither one of us have ever done that.
I'd be dead. Then I really would be a vampire because I would have died by then, and if you were talking to me, I'd be alive again.
Right, but we've all been around those people who just suck the energy and the life out of the room.
Karens.
Yes, so white women.
So some of them, yeah.
Yes. There's no black women that are Karens. Are there really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's Karens of every color, race, creed, religion, and sexual orientation. I don't fucking know.
All right. So
Karen knows no bounds. Karen is like, Karen isn't a person. Karen is like a symbiotic relationship between the dark evil inside of a human and that host person.
I gotta move my notes to the show over here since we're going out of order. We're winging this shit.
Fuck it.
No, but and like I said, energy vampires I can get behind.
Yeah.
I think we are all
Well, because I mean, vampire is just a term that gets put onto something that is just a thing. Like there are people that are like that. Like I said, I could fall under that depending on the description you read.
Right. All right.
You know how I am. Right. If you put me in a room full of people that are pissed off, I'm going to want to fucking hit somebody in the head. But if you put me next to you on a normal night with some decent music and a couple beers, I'm fucking happy-go-lucky as fuck.
Yeah, we're having a good time. But we've all been around. Everybody can walk into a room and feel the energy of the room.
Mm-hmm.
We can all do that. That's like, we can be sitting at a bar and we know when something's about to pop off.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened. You and I have experienced it. I've experienced it recently. And, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be able to, okay, little twinge comes over the back of my neck.
Yeah, it just depends on where we're at. If we're in the right bar, it's like, okay, we're going to have to handle this. Or if we're in the wrong bar, it's, you want to go smoke for 20 minutes?
Yeah, you can feel the energy in the room change. We are very attuned to energy. And that is why people who are aware of this are such good paranormal investigators. You go into a room, you feel the energy of that room. You absorb the energy of that room. So we are all some kind of energy vampires. But let's talk about the blood-sucking vampires.
Energico from Master Disguise.
I'm going to be the Master of Disguise.
Where did this all begin? Now, I'm going to cover 2. I picked 2 to talk about in this because there's 2 different origins.
And while we're on the subject of 2, there's too fucking many to really cover all of them.
Right.
Like there's literally fucking 50 per every region of every country around the world.
Right. So,
which is also why this shit's so interesting. Is it's all encompassing. It's not like Baba Yaga that's just in Russia or the Frogman that's just in Southern Ohio. Like this is all encompassing. You hear about this shit around the world in one way, shape, or form.
Right. I picked these two, and there's a reason why I picked these 2, and we'll cover that, and we talked about this.
Because one's going to piss people off, and one of them is what I find more interesting.
But there's a really good reason for this. Now, for all our religious listeners, because I know we have a shit ton of.
The what?
Religious listeners. Vampires are in the Bible. I shouldn't say that.
No, vampires are in the Bible. I'll say it. I don't give a fuck. There's also zombies in the Bible.
The first vampire story.
Specifically one zombie named Jesus.
The first vampire is a biblical character. Was, drumroll please, Lilith the first vampire.
That bitch.
Now, for those of you who are saying, who the fuck is Lilith? Go to fucking church.
Right. That's the first thing I tell anybody that wants to talk to me about not being religious is I'm like, dude, you can't say without a shadow of a doubt and without like all your being that you're not religious or anti-religion without knowing something about those religions.
So for those of you who are not aware of who Lilith is, come out of the rock and I will enlighten you at this point.
Like Jesus did.
I will enlighten you right now. In Judaic mythology, she was the first wife of Adam. So, hell, even Adam had a first wife.
And look what happened.
Yeah.
It led to the divorce.
The divorce. She was created on the 5th day with good old Adam, out of the same material, out of the same dirt of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
God created Adam and Lilith.
Yeah, because then Eve was made of Adam's, whatchamaffuck.
We'll get to good old Eve. Things did not work out between Adam and Lilith. She was made from the same, so she thought she was equal. She thought she was Adam's equal.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know in the Bible, in the prehistoric past, or the ancient past, women are not equal for men. That is not me saying this. That is the Bible. That is Jesus and God. They're saying women aren't as equal as men. But the first woman was, because she was made from the same thing. And let's be
bullshit.
Honest,
That's what they were made of. I'm not calling bullshit.
Lilith had a mind of her own. Lilith liked to party, hardy. She'd get down. But Adam was not having any of this shit. He was all pissy to all kinds of degrees. And the most fascinating part of this, she wasn't having this whole missionary sex thing. She felt it was giving her power away. She wanted to be on top. So this proves that Adam was a white dude.
Yeah.
Because if you can't get a woman off, a white dude, the only way, what?
Look who decided to show up.
Gonzo here.
I'm not trying to say that racial stereotypes are correct, but he is Puerto Rican.
Because anyway,
I'm so glad that he's like anybody listening to this. It's Gonzo. He's our only moderator in our chat.
But
it's fucking joke, Buttercup. Chill out.
But Lilith wanted to be on top during sex. She wanted to ride the shit out of it. And that proves that
My pony.
So that proves that Adam was white. Because that's pretty much the only way a woman can get off with a white guy.
Yeah, so is Jesus.
Well, no, that proves, hey, not a white guy in the world can get a woman off.
I don't know. All I'm saying is if Jesus was white, my dick is big.
Yes, that is correct. So this, like I said, Adam was white because he couldn't get her off missionary. She had to get hers. She needed her time.
She needed to go to the bone zone.
So she said, roll it over, Adam. Let me grind on that bitch for a while. While we are so going to fucking
Show
hell.
me your butthole.
So Adam was
Gonzo's offended. Yeah, you're offended. I refer you back to my last comment. If you're offended, my dick is big. Wait. No. Can't even see it. Looks like the end of my thumb.
Adam was a little butthurt over all this shit. He went to God, went to Daddy, and started whining, saying, this hooker wants to be on top. She wants to have power. She wants to have equal say. And God, being apparently God in the Old Testament, was a little bit of a sexist.
No, you don't say. I was just talking about this with Better Half the other day. How the fuck do people still follow that goddamn book? They literally said that you can base it. Oh, your wife, you think your wife might have cheated on you? And anyway, you're allowed to beat her to death.
So
go fuck yourself, Job.
After Adam went to God, God went to Lilith and said, listen, honey, slow your roll.
You are not the father. That's basically what this whole story is. It's ye old Maury.
Now,
or maybe Steve Wilkos, because it gets a little dark.
So God went to Lilith and said, slow your roll, baby. You are not Adam. You are here to serve him. And Lilith said, nah, blah, blah, nah, baby. I am made from the same shit. I am from the same cloth. And she said, I'm a strong, independent woman. And I don't need this, and you can go fuck yourself. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm sure, knowing Lilith, the kind of characteristics of, if I can say that twice, I'm not going to try. Lilith probably told God to go
Sorry for burping in the mic. I didn't mean to.
Go fuck him or herself. So.
No, it can go fuck thyself.
Yes. So God either banished or she said, I'm out. I'm getting to stepping. I walked out. So either way, it doesn't matter. Whether God banished her or she left of her own free will and accord does not matter. Lilith, with Lilith being free and clear, she started doing her own thing out in the world. But Adam was not satisfied. He needed something. So,
do you have beer here?
Do I have beer here?
Yeah.
No.
Damn it. Because I drank some of that. Now, I wouldn't mind a beer.
So,
you cock tease.
God helped Adam out by creating we all have heard of Eve.
That bitch.
Out of
that fucking homewrecker.
She was created out of Adam's rib.
Yes.
So therefore she was made from Adam, so therefore she is lesser than Adam. She is below Adam, so she had to take that shit missionary position.
So ridiculous. The Bible's fucking ridiculous.
Now, so while Adam and Eve are doing their thing, boringly, we might add.
Well, while Adam and Eve are doing Adam's thing, because Eve is there to surrender to Adam's masculinity and do her womanly duty. Hashtag religion. Praise Jesus.
Now, while this was going on, Lilith was out in the world doing her. She was just doing her whoring thing. She was just getting busy. But I have a problem with this.
She was double fisting dongs out in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Being Adam and Lilith, Eve, the first humans, correct? According to the Bible. Adam and Eve, the first humans, but we all know Lilith was before. Who the fuck was she fucking? It must have been a masturbation fucking marathon.
Or angels and demons.
Well, we're going to get to that. It gets...
or dildos. Dildos have been around longer than people would imagine. Both wood and stone.
Probably.
No, that's fact. Look it up. I've done it.
Yeah, so...
where do you think lesbian comes from? The word lesbian comes from the island of Lesbos. Swear to God.
Awesome.
It was an island of women, and they found fucking... If they actually found like the actual island of Lesbos, there's a bunch of stone carved dildos.
So, as we're getting back to the story, Lilith was out masturbating with stone carved dildos because there's no other humans.
Stildos.
Adam and Eve are in the Garden of Eden doing plain old boring missionary sex. No butt stuff. No doggy.
Rock cocks.
No fleshlights. No cock rings. Nothing.
Go ahead. I'm just trying to think.
I'm sure there had to have been lube because I'm sure Eve was drier than shit.
Igneuses? Like igneous rocks?
Yes. Now, this is where the story gets interesting. We all know the story of Garden Eden. And this is where religion kind of gets a little funky, and this is where I have a problem with modern day religion.
This is the only place?
Yes. The only place.
I find that hard
now
to believe.
Now comes the angel Samuel. Now,
L. Jackson?
Yes. Saying,
I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes in my motherfucking garden.
Now, Samuel was responsible, the angel Samuel, was responsible for planting the tree of knowledge. We all have heard of the tree of knowledge, right?
Unfortunately.
Which causes a shitstorm down the road. Samuel's the one that planted that shit. Build it, plant it, and it will grow.
There's a spelling error right there. Maybe she was into beadtality. I don't think anal beads were a thing back then.
I'm sure.
And I also don't think... Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Have like a bondage, sexual-oriented fatality in the next Mortal Kombat. Beadtality.
Obviously, some of our watchers were religious, and they have bailed on this project.
Shocker. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, okay, but
that's the problem with people that are religious. I don't have a problem. Like, you can be religious all you want, but the problem is, as soon as a fucking opposing thought process comes up, you gotta be right. You're wrong. I'm out. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you do me.
So anyway, God wasn't happy with Samuel, the angel Samuel, planting this tree, and God kicks Samuel to the curb. Says, "You need to get the fuck out. Get to stepping, bitch. Walking on down the aisle." So Lilith and Samuel hook up. So now she don't have to do with the stone dildos. She's got an angel dick. And they proceed to have a family.
A holy rolling pin.
They have a shit ton of kids. And this is why, in religious mythology, Lilith is the mother of demons. Because this unholy alliance between Samuel and Lilith, the children born from that were demons. Okay, now we're not even to the vampire part yet.
Oh, wait for it.
Wait for it.
Why were they demons? Because it was anything other than what the Bible said to do.
Now,
oh, no.
We've all heard of the Book of Enoch, correct?
God damn it. Yes.
Now, the Book of Enoch is not in the Bible. It was a book that obviously...
You want to start some arguments with religious people, bring up the Book of Enoch.
Did not make the cut because it did not follow the narrative of what the church wanted to portray as holy. And we're going to find out why right now. Now, according to
Stay tuned for more.
Now, according to the Book of Enoch, Samuel and Lilith went to Eden, and they were the ones that sweet-talked little old, poor, humble, naive Eve into sampling the apple of knowledge.
Yes.
Not Lucifer or Satan. It was Lilith and Samuel that got her to partake in the forbidden fruit.
Now, is it written that they were the ones that were portrayed as the snake, or that the snake was just kind of a throwaway excuse?
Well, we'll kind of talk about that in a minute. But
who knew we're a religious podcast?
So we all know the forbidden fruit was knowledge, and with Lilith being who she was, and it was about sex. We all knew.
Yet another total sidebar, but yet another reason why I think that the religion is crazy, and I don't understand why people follow it. The forbidden fruit that damns you is the fruit of knowledge.
Which, there's some beliefs that, I always thought it was sex. The forbidden fruit was sex.
Right.
Then knowledge, which is a whole quandary of shit going on. So basically what Lilith being the whore that she was, and God loved the whores out there. I love the whores.
It's the oldest profession.
She basically told Eve, when she took a bite out of the apple, which she didn't literally take a bite out of the apple, she was telling her, dude, listen, you want an orgasm, you need to...
Yeah, the bite of the forbidden fruit was literally just her going, Eve, I'm a woman and I know a thing.
But she was telling Eve, dude, you need to climb on that shit and ride that shit.
Yeah.
Get on and ride it like
I'm
a
a
rodeo.
female that knows a thing. Witch, burn her. She knows what 2 + 3 equals. She is clearly a witch by the hand of the devil himself.
Now, according to the
idiots.
According to the book of Enoch, this is not Phil or Travis speaking. This is the book of Enoch.
Facts. Just like the rest of the Bible.
God he was pissed off at Samuel for planting the tree of knowledge, because heaven forbid we give humans or people knowledge.
Especially women.
Then you got Samuel and Lilith going into the garden saying, Eve, it's a little thing called the big O. Get on that shit and ride it. You will start quivering, and if you do it right, the juices might start flowing.
Gross.
Anyway.
My virgin ears.
God got a little pissy, as he apparently did back in the Old Testament days. Back before he became a father, and lightened up a little bit. So God sent 3 angels.
Excuse me.
Down to wherever Lilith and Samuel were at the time.
God said, I love the sex fruit. You're an idiot. I fucking hate you.
And these 3 angels, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce the names.
I'll do it.
I don't give a fuck. I didn't even write it down.
You fucker.
Go
I like
Google
pronouncing stuff.
Go Google that shit. I'll get you to pronounce some shit here in a little bit. Trust me.
Excellent.
He sends these 3 angels to go grab up Lilith and bring her before him, and you know how God likes to do. She told them to pound sand and get to stepping, bitches. I ain't coming. Now, God told these angels, when they reported back, said, she's not doing what we say. God said, okay, here's what we're going to do.
Kill her.
We're going to, no, not kill her. I want you to kill 100 of her children every day that she doesn't come. Now, Lilith wasn't having this shit. Any mom.
So basically, Lilith is the opposite of Liam Neeson.
Yes, pretty
Got
much.
it.
She has a very particular set of fucking skills.
Fucking skills being the number one word in that statement, because she has hundreds of kids.
Yes.
How wide were this woman's hips?
She liked to ride that shit, so obviously pretty
She
well.
makes Amish women look like little bitches.
Well, I just want, obviously Samuel was hung like a fucking unicorn or something.
I don't know.
Anyway, Lilith was pissed off, so she retaliated and took her own action and started. By this time, I guess humans were, because God time and human time so fucked up. We don't let timelines fool you. Apparently, by this time, there were humans in the world. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, just having fun.
So she said, "You're gonna take one of mine. I'm gonna take one of yours." So she started killing babies, going and killing babies, taking them right off the teat. And
that is a picture perfect example of some tit for tat retaliation.
Yes, bump.
Tit for tot in this particular case.
But she would gnaw on them and suck their blood. Hence, Lilith being the first vampire. So obviously, this kind of what transformed her into the evil vampire that she's portrayed as now.
Oh, what's that what's that? Is that Keanu Reeves I see next to me? Because we're playing devil's advocate. Hey-o.
Yes. But there is some talk about she was taking in their life force, which back then people thought, ancient people thought life force was the blood. It could be energy. This is where energy vampires come in.
Yeah.
So who knows? So that is why Lilith, the mother of demons, is considered to be the first vampire.
Well, she is the mother of demons.
Yes, which, and religious folk love the fact that demons... How dareth you knock off over the fireball. Finish her off, bitch. Don't fuck it up. This was where... I can't take you anywhere. God, Travis. But this is why Lilith is considered to be the first vampire, and why all vampires have the religious think all vampires are demons. Okay, so
I mean, yeah, anything that's bad is a fucking demon or a child of Satan.
Yes. So, but this is why. Think about this. This is one.
This is gonna hurt.
This is one of the big reasons why the Book of Enoch is not in the Bible.
Yeah,
because
the Book of Enoch only gets mentioned or recognized in any way, shape, or form by Judaism, right?
Right, I think so.
Yeah,
but it was one of the many Bibles that did not books.
Although my favorite part of this show is the fact that we are absolute fucking morons most of the time, but we actually know stuff.
Well, I'm sure I got a lot of shit wrong, and we'll probably have some comments.
Well, I mean, it's we're talking about the Bible.
Right.
It literally all of it is up into interpretation. That's why the Bible is so successful.
But
because any one person is going to get in some place in that Bible, they're going to get a different fucking message than the next person. That's why it has stood the test of time.
But this is my point with religion. The Book of Enoch is not in the Bible for a very specific. There we go. Reason. Shouldn't have did that. Shot a fireball.
Or should you?
The story we talked about, the Garden of Eden story, what does the Bible say? The serpent tempted Eve.
Yeah.
And the serpent was Lucifer. That's not what the Book of Enoch says.
Or it was Samuel's big old dangly schlong.
It could have been, because obviously Samuel had enough packing. He was packing enough to satisfy Lilith. He could probably get her off missionary. I'm just saying. Adam... He was a white dude. This is why I say he was a white dude. He had 4 inches of fury. That was it.
2 inches of business.
But was he circumcised? There's the real fucking question. That adds another fucking inch.
There's a lot of fucking questions. It's the Bible.
Took 3/4 of girth off his total. Anyway. Okay, now let's get to the second one. And there's a reason I brought this up. Now, you mentioned last week about the Egyptian version of this. Now,
because like I said, I'm automatically more interested in the Egyptian version because anything Egyptian is just fucking interesting.
Now, Lamatsu was a female demon who would steal children from their mothers, normally while they were breastfeeding.
Like what, in that age range, or physically during the activity?
During the activity.
She just rides by on a bike and she just
swoops them up.
You just hear like crying and then she's like,
yeah, the wicked witch of the West.
Ow, motherfucker.
Now,
God damn it.
Lamitsu, or whatever the fuck her name was, which I think in the African terminology, Lamu or Lamoa or something like that.
Jason Momoa?
No, Lamatsu or Lamats is the word for vampire. Don't hold me to that, but I think so. But she was the daughter of the sky god Anu, who now she is from the Mesopotamian goddess, the Samaritan. Samaritan. The
Sumerian.
There we are.
She was a good Samaritan.
Sumerian. Now, her father did not like that she was a little free-willed. She liked to do her own thing, and kind of a bit of a dick.
Now, is this the story of vampires in Egypt, or is this The Little Mermaid?
We're getting both.
I don't know, but I bet you on land they understand that you don't reprimand your daughters.
No, but
Bright young women, sick of swimming.
Anu had issues with his daughter going around taking these babies and sucking their blood. That's
fair.
As any good father should.
That's fair. I'll give him that one.
Now, apparently, I'm not that familiar with these gods, per se.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really dived that deep into these particular gods.
Well, there's quite a few.
Yes. But Anu basically was the supreme god of all ancient Mesopotamia.
It's a big deal.
That's a big fucking deal. Now, she was a hybrid, and she had a hairy body like most women back then. And,
hot.
And most women at Lilith Fair. Lilith Fair. Never mind. Didn't get my fucking joke.
What?
Oh, anyway. She had long fingers and the feet of a bird with talons and donkey teeth. That's
hot.
That's one that I don't get. So, donkey teeth. Do donkeys have fangs?
No, they're just like buck teeth, like a horse.
So, if she was the first vampire, because this was back 6,000 years ago, she is the first written account.
So she looked like Amy Winehouse.
Yes. So,
R.I.P.
She was the first vampire, and she had donkey teeth. Does that mean donkeys, jackasses, are what's doing the cattle mutilations in today's world? Sucking the blood out of the cattle?
There is stories about demons portraying themselves and appearing as asses, donkeys or mules.
But this would explain cattle mutilation. I mean, I buy this.
Donkeys mutilate cattle anyway. Those things are fucking mean.
I buy this just as much as I buy aliens. Let's be honest. But she was a bit of a selfish bitch. She was more concerned with what she wanted, like most women. I'm joking. Relax, our female listeners.
We got a couple.
One. Now, she is known for, coming to people, fucking up their sleep. She liked to give them nightmares. Let's see what else. She's also attributed with killing foliage, infesting rivers and lakes, and bringing disease or sickness. People of the time would invoke. Here's a blast from the past. Pazuzu. These people would invoke Pazuzu, a god demon, to protect mothers and their infants from.
The fuck good is that gonna do?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Now, for those of you who aren't longtime listeners, Pazuzu.
If you're not hip to our jive,
Pazuzu made recent, headlines. Well, not recent, but there was a killer that was possessed by Pazuzu. What was it?
Pazuzu Algarad?
Yes, Pazuzu Algarad.
It wasn't really possessed by him. He just kind of took that name.
Yeah, well.
It was also the demon from The Exorcist.
Yes, but Pazuzu was a demon, but these people were so concerned they had to fight fire with fire. You want to get rid of a fucking blood-sucking demon.
You get another blood-sucking demon.
You get a fucking demon to take care of that. You don't want an angel to come down this.
That makes sense.
I mean, you don't want a chess player to come fight your battles for you. You want to get another fighter, right?
I mean, yeah, how the fuck else would you do it? Like, oh, we got a demon problem? Hey, bring in the other demon.
Yeah.
We're not talking about... this isn't basketball where you fight big man with big man. It's not like, Shaxson, Dwight, get off the fucking bench. Like, no, you fucking idiot.
Now,
how are we going to help this demon problem? My demons.
Pazuzu was the bringer of drought and famine, but they were bitter rivals, and they hated each other. So naturally, you summon that motherfucker, and
Twin Dragon does slap. I love me some pepper chicken.
We will take care of that shit. So, does this story sound familiar?
What do you mean? They all sound the same.
This is Lilith's story.
Yeah, they're all the same.
This is the exact same story, just with some tweaks here and there.
Yeah, I've been saying this for years. Religion is all the same thing. The only difference is cultural and geographical changes to fit the geography and the culture in which you are trying to control people. Go ahead and stop listening now, because I piss people off when I talk about my views on religion. But, I mean, if you're religious, more power to you. But it's just not my thing. And I can at least say that at least I have legitimate arguments towards my point of view, like that one. Because that's just, as far as I'm concerned, that's a fucking fact.
Right.
It's the same as I say all the time. Like, all religion it's the same fucking thing as far as I'm concerned, because the good parts of every religion are the same fucking parts.
Exactly.
Like, the lessons that every religion tries to teach you are the same in every religion.
Right. But
And they also share a lot of bad ones.
these stories
It's usually, hey, you can beat your wife to death. You can have slaves. Like,
these stories
women shouldn't think or talk.
These stories prove one of two things. Either modern religion plagiarized ancient religions,
Mm-hmm.
or it's all one religion and it just got splintered off and taken.
That's what I think. I don't think it's
off.
a plagiarism. I think it's just
Right.
a rebranding.
Right. It's, telling the same story, just a little bit, the telephone game, a little bit in a different way.
Yeah, you change it from fucking Mark to Ahmed because you're going from this region of the world to this region of the world, and then when you're done in this region of the world, then it's Julio, and then it's fucking, I don't know, Dikembe. That's the only like African name I could think of.
Yep. Yeah. So, let me pose this question to you. With what we've covered,
7.
21. Now, with what we talked about thus far, before we get into the documentary of Vampires in America and completely blow our loads all over that abortion,
It's not bueno.
are vampires real?
No.
What about energy vampires? Or like we talked
I
about?
mean, yeah, but the only reason they're called, people, they're just given that name. That doesn't make them vampires. You know what I mean? It's just like you get on the argument of, oh, well, are you a vampire with an I or an vampire with a Y? Eat a dick.
Now, this whole
Vampire.
this whole vampire phenomenon could just be a misinterpretation of actual events.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Which is usually how things become a thing.
there are several diseases that cause the symptoms of vampirism. You are aware of this.
Go on.
These are blood disorders that can, if you listen to what the side effects of these blood disorders, sounds a lot like vampirism. Now, EPP, which I'm not even going to, we've all heard of Pytharia,
Mm-hmm.
which is just sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
Or porphyria, whatever the fuck it is, I don't know. Which is sunlight.
Well, I thought that was one of the 3 musketeers.
Yes. Which basically is, people blister. They're light sensitive.
Yeah.
UV light burns them. They can blister them. Which vampires.
Oh.
Now there's another.
Is there anything that makes them sparkle?
No. There's another one called EPP, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce that fucking word.
You have it?
You want to try to pronounce that word?
Yep.
Right? You see the EPP?
Yep.
Go ahead. Butcher that. See? Tough one.
Erythropoietic protoporphyria.
Now, this is an interesting one. Now, we have the other one, which, blistering. Excuse me. This also does have some light sensitivity, but is...
Well, I'd imagine that's one of the common...
with blood disorders.
Whatever the fuck, common factors.
People who have EPP are chronically anemic, and which makes them appear to be very frail and pale.
Yeah, because they don't have enough fucking red blood cells or whatever the fuck that is.
Now, the treatment... The modern... Ooh, shit. Sorry, folks.
I don't know stuff. I know stuff about shit that's never going to behoove me to know about, but I don't know like stuff like that.
Now, the modern treatment for these diseases are blood transfusions. Now, let's think about the ancient past with people that had these diseases. Many, we were fucking stupid back in the day. We didn't have a lot of vast medical...
Yeah, they used to take
knowledge.
blood out of your body to try to fix ailments. It was called bloodletting.
Basically a blood transfusion. Take it out, put it in.
Mm-hmm.
But people in the ancient past didn't have Dr. Fauci to tell them that he is the science and do what he says. So maybe some of these people with EPP
had COVID.
They died of COVID. No,
Conspiracy theory begun.
To
COVID makes vampires.
To solve their symptoms and make them feel better, they started drinking the blood of animals. Which...
How you come on that fucking idea? I'd like to see, but, you know.
Now, you take that into consideration, the sensitivity to light, even blistering and burning, just not redheads that don't get burned real bad. These people with porphyria actually, blister, and it's not good.
You got the scabies.
You take that and them trying to self-medicate by drinking blood of animals, because I'm sure they probably feel better. Maybe. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Hence, birthed out of the womb of creation is vampires.
Yeah, and plus the drinking of animal blood thing just seems a bit on the nose.
Mm-hmm. But, knowing people the way I do, these people that were trying to self-medicate with animal blood, I'm sure some of them said, fuck it, let's just go with human blood.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what people do.
Oh, yeah.
So, it is, maybe this was the real vampires. It was just a big misunderstanding that
all would make just as much sense as any
all
other
these
option.
characteristics are correct. It's just, instead of immortality and super strength and having diamond skin and falling in love, going in high school and falling in love with a whiny ass little bitch.
No.
Maybe this is where the legend and the myth of vampirism has taken off. And it just spread.
I mean, we're talking about mankind. We don't need any reason other than a drop of anything into the fucking bucket to take something and run with it.
Right. Okay. I mean, that's just food for thought. That makes a lot of sense, honestly. People in the legend just grew and grew and grew.
It's like I said, it's almost too obvious.
Now, there's another misidentification of a disease that is attributed to vampirism. Now, I'm sure some of you out there in internet land I heard some of you... Oh, well, fuck. That's why I can't read comments. I lose my train of thought. Where was I at? Fuck. Oh. There is another reason for maybe some of this misinterpretation of facts. We had a vampire... Shit, let me try that again.
Vampire.
We had a vampire outbreak here in America.
Yeah.
Back
yeah,
in the
we
day.
did.
In New England. All the cool shit goes down in New England. We got
Well, I mean, it's the origins of the United States.
We got the killing of the witches, and we had a vampire panic. Now, this can be attributed to one thing.
Excuse me.
And do you know what that is?
Anal.
No. Good guess, though. I like where your mind's going. Many people think that the TB outbreak in America fueled this vampire frenzy. Because in New England, the vampire panic was a reaction to this tuberculosis. Was as it broke out, people thought they were being attacked by vampires. They were losing family members. People were dying in families, one after another.
Mm-hmm.
And they believed that these dead family members were rising from the grave and feeding on their family members. Because they would get real pale, real weak, and eventually die. So they thought these dead or deceased family members were feeding on their family and slowly draining them of all the blood.
Well, I mean, you got to come up with something when you don't believe in fucking germs.
Now, TB, tuberculosis, another word for that, you know what that is? Another name for it. Do you?
I don't know.
Consumption.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Consumption is TB.
Huh.
Because this TB actually consumes the body. This viral infection makes you basically wither away to nothing. Okay? And it could actually look like somebody's being feeded on over and over.
Feeded?
Yes. Don't correct my grammar. Being fed on over and over and over.
That's not grammar. That's vocabulary.
Fuck.
Because feeded is not a word.
It is a word if I say it. So
what'd you do today, honey, while I was at work? I feeded the cat.
Hey, if I say it's a fucking word, I'm manifesting it into being a word.
I sleeped it in a little bit.
Fuck off.
I pooped it.
I will walk off this fucking show.
You're the one with all the research.
And take all 2 listeners.
This is 4 on mine.
Hey, these are 4 diehards that they stuck around.
Yeah, it seems like whenever we touch on a religion, specifically myself,
shit starts going
people
downhill.
tend to leave.
But they believe these dead relatives were coming up and feeding on the relatives and causing them to die.
Yeah, because they weren't just getting sick because germs were a thing. Oh, that's right. Germs weren't a fucking thing back then.
Right.
Actually, I think germs might have been like brought up by then, but they were like, "There's no such thing. I can't see this germ you speak of." No, fuck you, Tiberius.
Naturally, people, as they do, start freaking out when they don't understand anything.
Yes.
2020.
It's the man in general.
They went back and started to dig up all these dead family members or dead people.
Great idea.
And when they exhumed these bodies, they found that they were well preserved. Their bodies were well preserved. Their fingernails and hair were still growing, and some of them even had little drops of what appeared to be blood coming from their mouth and maybe nose and other orifices of their body.
You mean what happens when we die?
We're gonna get to that. Don't.
I guess there was shit in their pants too.
Probably. So this automatically confirmed their beliefs that they were rising from the grave and feeding on the people of the towns. They went to great lengths to stop this. They would, they had a whole vast array of ways to dismember the body. They would place heavy stones on the grave so, they couldn't push up.
That's some real scientific shit right there.
Yeah. And there have been...
What do we do, Seth? Throw fucking rock on it. Who gives a shit?
There have been bodies exhumed here in recent times which fit, like, cutting the heads off, taking the arms and limbs off, crossing them, and, actual stakes in the fucking heart.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what these people in New England decided to do, which apparently it worked because they're still New England is still around. But it was just TB. But one thing about this, these people weren't that smart. If I know anything, New England is cold as balls in the winter. Correct?
Yeah.
So these bodies that were buried would be well preserved because they're fucking frozen, you jackasses.
Excuse me. Jesus Christ, it's been a long week.
But if the body's well preserved, it could be because of the colder temperatures.
Could be.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you're really going out on a limb here.
But all this is because they didn't have the medical advances that we have. They were a little ignorant, which it's okay.
Fair. That's fine.
It's
okay to be stupid.
People in 20 years are going to think we're ignorant. I mean, people tomorrow...
And they'll be wrong.
People tomorrow will think you and I are ignorant because we are ignorant. But that's beside the point. We learn something new every day as a species.
Yes.
Now, where was I? Fuck. I don't know. I think
bodies hitting the floor.
But all this could lead to the myth of vampirism.
Vampire.
And creatures roaming the nights, suckling on the necks of innocent babies, teenagers, and adults.
What's that called? That specific area? I can't remember what it's called. They talk about it in Dracula Dead and Loving It. That's the best vampire movie ever made with Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
When he bit the one girl, and he was under the cape, and he was drinking the blood, and then it sounded like somebody drinking a cup of water out of a straw at the bottom.
I mean, one thing about this vampirism shit, it's giving us some good movies. Now, it hasn't given us great documentaries, and I think that's what we should riff on right now.
I mean, how can you make a documentary? You know what I mean? Like, it's still just going to be a movie.
Right. Now, let's talk about Vampires in America, the documentary style show, and I'm using that term very loosely, on Travel Channel, which followed or documented 2 vampire hunters chasing down creatures of the night in Southwest U.S., United States.
They went to the sunniest place in the United States.
Yes. They didn't go to Oregon or Seattle.
Right, somewhere where they could probably just walk the fuck around
24
hours
a day because it rains all the fucking time.
Or the UK. Like, let's not go somewhere. Let's go to... where else do you want to go? I was thinking Hawaii.
So, obviously, when vampires retire, they don't go to Florida, they go to Phoenix.
Great idea.
Beautiful. Go to the desert where it's always hot and sunny.
God, I'm a sleepy boy.
Now, we both watched this show. I rewatched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just as amused as the first time I watched it. It didn't get any better. Trust me.
Who'd have thunk it? I'd imagine it just, if anything, it gets worse because you just happen to notice something in the background that you're like, are you fucking serious?
Now, the show starts off with a disclaimer, as they all should. Witnesses' names have been changed for their protection. No shit, because they're all actors. Because this was the best.
Oh, they're so clearly actors.
These actors, if you watch this documentary, I strongly suggest you go watch this, because these are some of the best actors in recreation that you're going to find. I mean, they do a good job. They overact.
I don't know.
I've
I've seen some porns with better on-screen performances than this.
But most documentary witness accounts are fumbling. They're fucking kind of awkward.
So
like
is this.
Paradise Lost, for instance.
Yeah.
Those you could tell you were interviewing somebody in the news type shit.
Mm-hmm.
This was
Those interviews were such bullshit in Paradise Lost. That one kid's dad, he said, I know that 3 babies was killed here. And I know on that date every year I will spit on their grave. I was like, motherfucker, that is the most rehearsed, written shit I've ever heard. Take off your trucker hat. Go change out your dip to a new fucking chaw and go fuck your cousin. Shut up.
But I think they hired too good of actors to play, in my opinion, to play these roles.
Oh, definitely. Like, they threw too much money at this thing. It would have been better if it was cheap and, like, comedically bad. Which it was still comedically bad, but if it was cheaply made, it would have been so much better.
Oh, yeah. Now, of course, these recreations, they're not going to use, they used actors. The problem with it gives them a lot of creative license to exaggerate and make things. Now, I'm not saying they didn't talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they probably did do their due diligence. But
yeah.
I think they flubbed the words a little bit. The script was a little punched up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Most definitely. Now,
the whole thing was fucking, in one way, shape, or form, almost every aspect of that show was ridiculous.
Now, this show follows 2 vampire hunters, Eric Street and Marcel von Tegan. Now, Tegan's a funny character. I like him. They stated that
it's ridiculous.
That between 2019 and 2020, missing persons reports have gone up approximately 30%.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not doubting that. Stats don't lie. And they propose this is possibly because of there is an active vampires are coming out of hibernation and they're getting ready to plan something.
Yeah, because duh.
Now, missing people has always been an issue. I remember when I was a kid, and probably even when you were a kid, the milk crate. Kids on the milk crate.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a thing.
It's still a thing.
Go missing.
Now,
it's the nature of man.
I know they speak about this in the documentary that, a lot of this is attributed to, cartels in that portion of the United States. They have to worry about that shit. But it can't be all of it. I mean, and we talked last week about missing 411.
Mm-hmm.
The people going missing in the state parks.
Yeah.
Are some of these, being abducted by Bigfoot, being abducted by aliens? or are they being killed by vampires? Who's to say? I don't fucking know. But I know Marcel and Eric, they believe this shit.
Or at least they act like they do.
Yes.
Because they're also actors.
I don't know so much about Marcel, per se, but I know...
Well, if he's not an actor, they got him out of a fucking asylum somewhere.
This Eric Street guy, if you Google him, he does have an IMDb or whatever that is. He is a filmmaker. He is a filmmaker. And he has other films to his credit. Shocker, huh? Now, they do say some serious shit in the show. And some of it I'm okay with, and some of it is outright fucking ridiculous.
Most of it.
Okay, now their main opinion is vampires are prehistoric creatures that evolved around 68,000 years ago. And they are a type of hominid, but they're not human. Now, you're the anthropological. Yes, I know I fucked that up, but I don't give a fuck.
Well, anthropological is a word.
Okay, is it the one I'm looking for?
The anthropologically minded one would work.
Okay, you are that. Now, is this possible? I mean, to be a hominid...
From 68,000 years ago? Yeah.
That is not human? Or has...
Yeah, I mean, Gigantopithecus is considered a hominid, and that was... I mean, we've been around for 100,000 years.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Gigantopithecus, fucking Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon man, like, they're all considered a hominid. It's a bipedal primate, basically.
Okay.
That has somewhat human characteristics.
Okay.
In one way, shape, or form.
I just wanted to go to the source. You are much more...
There's plenty of hominids that aren't human, that aren't Homo sapiens.
Now...
Well, I don't want to say plenty. It's not like there's like millions and thousands of them, but like there's 100% hominids that are not us.
Now, this vampiric species, like I said, developed 68,000 years ago. Its main source of food was blood, which is not uncommon in the animal realm, correct? I mean, vampire bats do technically drink blood, right?
Yeah, vampire bats
survive on blood.
There's plenty. There's moths that live on blood.
Right. Mosquitoes.
Yeah. Leeches.
So, this is not that far-fetched.
No.
This is plausible. That there could have been a primate type.
But the problem with that is the amount of blood or whatever is in it that they need, hemoglobin. I don't know what they claim is what they need, but you would need an absurd amount of it to satiate a hominid of any recognizable size.
Well, what about if it's not the same? Your digestion isn't the same as us. We need a larger caloric intake, but blood, if just to play devil's advocate here, they don't need as much blood to sustain themselves as we don't. Instead of eating 3 times a day, they can 3-4 times a month kill a goat or take down a deer. I mean, so my point is, it's plausible. This is not out of the realm. This is not scientific, some science fantasy shit. There are animals. This is in the animal kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be possible that there was a type of creature that developed this time 8,000 years ago. Now, according to old Eric and Marcel, wasn't that the Monkey and Friends?
I don't fucking know. Do I look like somebody that's watched Friends?
Yes, you've watched Friends.
No, I've seen Friends because there was nothing else on, and then I got my phone out and didn't pay attention to it.
But anyway, according to these two, the vampires migrated to Europe and set up shop in Romania.
And see, that's really where they started losing me. Like, fuck it. Okay, so we're gonna go from trying to have a scientific background that nobody's heard to just stereotypical vampire shit.
Right. This is where there's these two, they come up with this shit that is plausible, like I said, but then it's so right there on the nose of myth or pop culture. But basically, they feel that, or what happened, why the vampires dispersed out of their home port in Romania was because vampire hunters kind of started fighting back. Mm-hmm. So some of them left to actually, escape.
Right.
And they traveled to places like the U.S. around the Civil War time. But in Romania, they do mention in the doc that we all know that Vlad the Impaler was kind of not one of the topics Bram Stoker took in his development of.
Well, there's
Dracula.
multiple. Yeah, it was like him, Elizabeth Bathory.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in
But
Bram Stoker's mind.
Vlad the Impaler, did impale his conquest, the people he was in war with or battling with.
Which people act like that's an uncommon thing.
Didn't they see Game of Thrones? Hello?
Didn't they see, what was it, God damn it, why can't I think of the word? It's an actual thing. Like, it's an actual thing that happened. The something. With Catholics and Romans. Or Roman
Inquisition?
Catholic. No, the Crusades.
Oh, the Crusades, okay.
I'm pretty sure it was the Crusades. At one point, there was literally like a 2,000-mile road, essentially, that was lined with the heads of people that went against the Roman Catholic Church for 2,000 miles. How many human heads is that?
A lot.
Millions.
A lot. It's a lot of head.
But we don't talk about that.
No.
We talk about the I don't even know what to call the faith background of Vlad the Impaler. I don't know. Because he's in Romania, so.
But it is.
He could be a Romani gypsy.
Many historians say that Vlad did soak or dip his bread in the blood of his conquest, which, who knows? I mean,
I call bullshit.
Bathory.
Yeah, but she was batshit crazy.
Well, who's to say?
And like the shit that Elizabeth Bathory did was for reasons completely different from what they say Bram Stoker, what they say Vlad.
Same.
I don't even remember what his name. Vlad something Pesh.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not. Because she did it because she was fucking crazy and wanted to be young because she was vain. Vlad did it because he was just a fucking ruler. That's what rulers did.
Now,
heads on pikes were not uncommon.
Where these two yahoos go a little off the rails when it comes to Vlad the Impaler, his war that he partook in, wars were actually vampire versus human wars. He called in the vampires to fight this war.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the movie, what was it, Dracula Untold?
Yeah, okay. And here's my problem with all this. If any of this has any semblance of truth, there would be fucking evidence of this.
I'm not even saying there could be. It's just as plausible in my mind that vampires are just as real as Bigfoot.
No.
Yes.
No, because if Bigfoot's a real thing, then it's probably a species that we already have in the fossil index. We don't have shit in any type of scientific backing to back vampires.
It would just look like the fossils would just look human.
See, I don't think they would.
Yes.
Because I don't think the entire the makeup of the body would not be the same. They wouldn't necessitate.
In the fossil records, they don't have interior. They have the bone.
Okay, but we're talking about something that's still around, so there would still be evidence of it, and we're not like if you're satiating yourself off of just human blood or blood in general, I don't see any reason why you would have the same makeup as far as organs and tissue goes.
I'm just saying. This is just as plausible as Bigfoot or Chupacabra or fucking Loch Ness Monster. It's all myths.
Well, they're all more plausible than Loch Ness Monster.
Yes. Gigantopithecus was a thing. As we just discussed, it is in nature that creatures do survive on blood.
Well,
why couldn't there be some sort of hominid-looking thing?
See, because that's the other thing is like there would have to be some type of evidence behind that. Because if there's no evidence behind it, we're probably then that would lead me to believe that we're talking about one single species that has ever existed.
Let's be honest. We are both conspiratorial to some point.
Me more so than you.
Our ancient past is not what we think it is.
No.
We know for a fact.
And
Vikings
well,
were
okay,
here
well,
before.
Well, then if there's any legitimacy to any of this, this is the biggest, longest running, best cover up in the history of mankind.
Yeah, but it doesn't take. The past 2 years should tell you it doesn't take much to get people to believe.
But to get to slide under the radar for
you can get people.
What, let's say 2,000. Well, let's say
and it gets
10,000 years of like some type of actual recording of events and stuff like that, be it by writing or language or hieroglyphics, something.
It only takes a couple years and things will be forgotten all about. It can be removed. People will forget all about it.
I don't know.
This is just as plausible as Bigfoot. Just as plausible.
It's I don't think it is. It's just from like a genetic and scientific standpoint. It's not.
Yes, it is. It's in nature as it is. And just because you're showing no proof, we have proof of Gigantopithecus, but that's it. We don't have proof of Bigfoot.
Yeah, but that would go against one major thing in the world in the family of hominids, is that hominids
are learning new shit
are opportunistic, omnivorous things.
We are learning new shit about these creatures every day. Just like T-Rex, was probably furry or had feathers.
Feathers,
right?
And also, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Just because you didn't move didn't mean T-Rex couldn't see you.
So we don't know.
Rapid course correction is your best chance.
We don't know. That's all I'm saying. It's to me, it's all.
I mean, yeah, like anything could be fucking real. But from what I know about anything, I would say it's fucking bullshit.
You're fucking brainwashed. You've been fucking brainwashed by fucking public education.
Oh no, all this shit came from outside public education. No. Public education taught me very few useful things.
But I just know
addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and like some geology. That's about it.
I just know
how to read.
They have lied to us about our history. History is written by the winners.
Yeah,
and we do what our history here in the U.S. And
well, see, and here's where the argument gets really interesting. Is you say history is written by the winners. Where are we drawing the line on this vampire thing?
What do you mean?
As far as, do they have superhuman powers of different sorts?
No, absolutely not.
Do they have super strength? Can they move faster? The glimmering thing is completely out the fucking window as far as I'm concerned. The only other one, they're not feasible, but the most realistic ones you could talk about are super strength and speed.
No, it'd just be no stronger than, say.
Okay, well then how about, then we get to the point where we could meet in the middle on, we're not even talking about a species, we're just talking about a long-lasting, hardcore, basically subsect of human beings.
Right. Or
where it's not another species, where they don't have to exclusively get their nutrients from blood. They just choose that path.
That's
because that's how most vampires are now.
I'm sorry.
Like vampires that practice vampirism.
Oh yeah, they're fucking idiots.
Which most don't, from what I understand from people who claim vampirism.
I'm just saying age fucked up vampires for everybody.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, you would think, why would it matter?
That's true.
But yeah, because I know for a fact that most quote unquote vampires now, they get like medical screenings on their things, and like they live normal fucking lives.
Just people living the lifestyle.
Well, they live normal fucking lives, and then every once in a while they like take the tiniest little cut on someone and just like, not even the point where the blood is flowing out of them. Like they have to suck the blood out of them.
That's just stupid.
Oh yeah, I agree.
That's just ignorant.
I agree.
But anyway,
do you have anything on the difference between vampires and with an I and a Y?
No, I don't.
Apparently that is a thing.
I don't give a fuck.
Vampire.
I don't care.
And with a W. There's a lot of subsects out here.
Oh Jesus.
A lot of vampire turf war going on.
Do we have to worry about offending some vampires here.
I don't give a fuck. What are they going to do about it? They're going to write bad about me on their blog and put some bullshit fucking hex on me that's not going to work? Go fuck yourself.
Let's get back to this.
Tridonius or whatever your fucking stupid goddamn vampire name is.
We're almost to the end of this documentary shit.
Eat a blood dick.
Now, according to Eric and Marcel, vampires that roam the earth today, one of the crazy things they said in this documentary.
You are the loudest walking tiny dog I've ever met in my life.
One of the craziest things they said in this documentary was Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
And what we
based on Teddy Roosevelt.
Well, what we think of vampires, the whole pop culture of vampires today, is all an elaborate hoax that was perpetrated by the vampires.
Which would be believable.
Basically, Bram Stoker.
Bam Stoker.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bram Stoker of Jackass fame.
They were dictating this to him. Just like Christian Slater.
Why is there not a fucking a vampire porn star named Bram Stoker?
That is true. But this is very...
What the fuck, world?
This is very similar to Christian Slater's character in Interview with a Vampire. Which is what Louis, Brad Pitt's character, was dictating the story to him.
Yeah.
Same fucking thing. As you like to say, what do we say?
Same.
But our thoughts on vampirisms, according to these two yahoos, is basically false history that a psyop from the vampires.
Yeah, but I mean that just falls into place with everything else, though.
Right.
Everything or not everything. I don't want to say everything, but a lot of the things that people think they know or we think we know is falsified information.
Now,
or a very small monicum of the whole broad spectrum of the information about that thing.
Now, one thing I can kind of get behind these guys on is the cattle mutilation thing.
That was one of the only things that in that whole thing where I was like, all right, like if we're positing that we live in this world, then yes, I can see that.
Right. Now, it is very possible that something is killing and sucking the blood out of these creatures, and it's
their wives.
It's more likely that it is some other kind of creature.
Excuse me.
Instead of aliens or the government.
Maybe they're just getting attacked by a massive flock of vampire bats.
Isn't there something to the chupacabra cryptid that they're blood sucking?
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible. It doesn't even have to be a human, a dude 6 foot tall walking around.
Well, there's two versions of the chupacabra too. There's a dog-like version, and then there's like a reptilian alien type version.
There could be a creature out there, another cryptid, that survives.
Well, there we go. Who's to say that we're even talking about any type of hominid?
Right. It could be.
We could just be talking
canine.
about. Yeah, but it could. These might be the vampires we're talking about.
It very well could be.
They could be the chupacabra or the chupacabra. Maybe the chupacabra is a species and it's been around for a millennia.
Right.
And it's just been sucking people off of life's pedestal.
That was my point I was trying to make earlier with it being in nature. So it is possible there is a creature out there that sucks blood and lives on blood. Doesn't have to look like fucking Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
it could look like.
And then the only argument I have at that point is, why do we give a fuck?
Well, you'll give a fuck when that fucking thing is wrapped around.
Yeah, but if that's true, and there was a population that was large enough to actually have an impact on another species, we would know.
It would kill us all. Eventually, they would.
Exactly, we'd all be fucked.
Yes, I think I read something.
It'd be like True Blood, but less douchey.
I read something about there was actually some professor in one college actually ran the numbers to disprove vampires are real. Because if the modern version of vampires, you bite, turn another, they become a vampire if you don't kill them, blah, blah, blah. So
we'd be fucked.
It was, don't quote me on these numbers. I want to say in 3 years, the entire population of the world would be vampires.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Which is how it works.
Right. Okay.
Because you effectively, in a short period of time, you cut the population of the world in half. And once you have a half and half population, that population's only got, each one of those people only has one person to feed off of at that point. And then that person would potentially, theoretically, then change. Then you have no persons to feed off of.
Then you're fucked.
And then are you able to repopulate the society even with vampires? Because can vampires have babies? We don't know.
Right.
But I mean, we're also going off shitty fucking movies.
Right.
And this bullshit documentary.
Well, I got one more thing about this bullshit documentary.
Which one?
Well, we'll talk about the...
Are we going off on our rant at the end of this, I'm assuming?
I'll let you go off with your rant. But let's talk about... Well, okay. Marcel says he comes from 25 generations of vampire hunters.
But his last name isn't Van Helsing.
No, it's not Van Helsing. It's whatever. Von Tiergen.
Kind of makes you seem like a fucking hokey piece of shit.
In the show, he states he's never killed a vampire, but he saw his father kill one once. So he's I'm going to say in his late 50s, early 60s.
So you're a really fucking shitty vampire hunter.
You are the worst vampire hunter of all time.
You're literally you're Stan Helsing from that fucking movie that they made with the guy that, I think it was the guy that played, it might be, no, I was going to say it's the guy that played Jack Reacher, but it's the guy that was in Reba. The big dumb football player guy from Reba.
Oh, yeah.
He was Stan in Stan Helsing.
Oh, but he's also...
I think.
What was that show on Showtime he was on? Oh, fuck. Shameless.
I'm one of the few people that's never... Like, I've seen Shameless. It's just not my... I mean, it's not bad. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of B negative.
I've watched a couple. I couldn't get into it.
It's funny. Like, I couldn't see myself binge watching it.
Yeah, so we are coming to the rant portion. If you want to rant about these fucktards.
Okay. First off... Let's start with Marcel.
Marcel.
Why the fuck do you have a machete all the time?
Because you gotta cut the fucking heads off.
Okay, why does he carry it in his hand in the sheath?
In the documentary,
or scabbard. I don't know. Maybe it's a scabbard for a machete.
He tells why.
Why he carries it?
Yes.
Physically carries it?
Because for one, you gotta be prepared. But the whole staking the heart thing, yes, it will work, but it's hard to, the heart's only so big. You got a small target, plus getting through the breastplate and all that. Wood stake is too hard to do. That's why you got to take the head off.
Okay, well, that still doesn't, like, if this is your number one tool for your profession of hunting vampires, why the fuck are you, like, getting out of the truck at on location and then getting it out of the back seat? Put it on your belt, stupid. They literally are made to be put on a belt. Or fucking Leonardo that shit and strap it onto your back. Literally anything except for using a hand for the entire time that you're walking around a place where you think there's vampires to hold a guarded, sheathed machete. So it's not even out and ready to go. You still have to take it out of its protective casing in order to utilize it, but yet you're going to fucking carry it like a dipshit. That one doesn't make sense to me. Number two about old Marcel. Why the fuck is he dressed like Jack Hanna from fucking PBS Kids in 1999?
Because he's on safari, baby. He's hunting.
He looks like he jacks off to Sam Elliott movies.
Well, who doesn't?
He looks like he knows what Steve Irwin's butthole looks like. He looks like he has a cardboard cutout of fucking Mick Dundee in the corner of his jack-off office. His jack office, if you will.
I see what you did there.
I don't know if I've seen a man wear so much tan for an entire hour and a half episode of a show. Like, he looks like, if you made Zach Bagans into a safari leader, that's what Marcel would look like. And then gave him, like, a shitty cut rate version of Jean-Claude Van Damme's accent. You have Marcel from this fucking show, whatever his goddamn last name is.
Right.
Third, about Marcel. Stop being such a creepy lurker. He creepy lurks his way through the whole show. He rarely talk. The other guy does most of the talking. He just kind of stands in the background nodding his head. If anybody's a vampire in that show, it's fucking him.
They're all vampires.
Okay, moving on to my rants. That fucking guy.
We're just now starting your rants?
Yeah, like fucking this. Like I don't even know what to call him. Billy Ray Virus. Like with his stupid fucking mullet, which I guess mullets are in again. Whatever. His just isn't very good. And so if Marcel is gonna dress like one of the Crap brothers on Safari, or like why am I getting a work call?
Well, we got to wrap this
Fuck
up.
it.
I was going to say, we got to wrap. We're pushing 2 hours now.
So the other guy, if Marcel is dressed like a safari leader, the other guy is dressed like the photographer on an amateur porn shoot. He's got that stupid fucking vest that has too many goddamn pockets. Like, we know you don't fish. Why do you have that vest? What, do you have a single clove of garlic in every fucking pocket? Is that how that works?
Yes, that's how it works.
Let's move on again. Why do you have the hamburger meat chest shirt on all the goddamn time? You're not Jason Momoa. I'm a big guy too, bud. We don't dress like that. It's not very flattering. Third, and fucking final for this particular human being, why? Because there's more, but this is more show related because as we agreed, it's scripted. But why did they make the character choice about him talking about his fucking Kevlar fucking bandana that he wears all the time? Because first off, no, you don't have a Kevlar bandana. I would hate to see the bill you would have paid to get somebody to make you a custom Kevlar bandana. Moving on. 2, it is to block the view of his pulmonary artery beating with his heart and expanding and contracting. Again, I'm a big guy. I got no problem saying this. Nobody's seeing our pulmonary arteries moving there, jacko.
Like a vampire doesn't know where it's at anyway.
Right.
I'm sure he's fed more than once. He
Yeah,
knows.
well, it drives them wild, he said. No, you got 2 chins just like me. Nobody's seeing that shit.
And plus that Kevlar bandana to protect his neck. A vampire just can't go, excuse me.
Go ahead and say it.
Excuse me. Let's take it down. Let me get to sucking.
Or there's also the fact that it's not like he's wearing it like he folded it in half and then tied both ends of that around his neck to cover his whole neck. No, he's wearing it like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, if you were to lift up the fucking collar on Fred's shirt from Scooby-Doo and look at his ascot, that's basically how he's wearing it. What the fuck are you... What are you hoping? Like, okay, so it's still gonna... The vampire's still gonna be able to bite you where he needs to bite you. Worst case scenario for him, he might, like how we hit our tooth with a pint glass trying to take a drink of beer. He might hit it and be like, oh, let me reposition ever so slightly and continue doing what I was already doing with a slightly less inconvenience.
Right.
Shut the fuck up forever. Like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. And then, while we're talking about the film, this is a documentary. And while we're in this documentary, we're going to catch a person lurking behind us in the middle of this. Let's not talk about that, too. Everywhere that they go to look for stuff is literally a glorified storage unit of in one way, shape, or form. There's a literal storage unit. There is a rundown factory that is now a arcade, aka some guy stores his fucking arcade games there, and they thought it'd be an interesting twist to throw that into the movie or the show. And the other one is a fucking, they're like, oh, there's abandoned blah blah blah. Like, motherfucker, no, it's not. It's literally a place where people park tractor trailers and RVs. Jackass.
And don't forget about the V with the circle around it too.
Oh yeah, the V for Vendetta logo that marks that it's okay to feed here, right. And if it's got a line, it's not okay. And then on top of that, what is this? It looks, Eric, it kind of looks like a coffin. No, it doesn't, Jan. It looks like a fucking a shipping container for auto parts. You jackass. What are we talking? Are we dealing with pygmy vampires? Are all vampires 4 feet long and they can fit in between a fucking trifurcated box that has clearly pieces of wood inside it so you can lay like an axle on it and not have it flop around?
I would hate for them to be only 4 foot tall.
And then let's not talk about how stupid this fucking idiot looked using luminol around that place. There's literally a part where I remember actually laughing out loud at it, where they're walking along and he's just got the flashlight and he's just walking along, doesn't have the flashlight on this area, and just looks at the corner of this trailer for a tractor trailer and just goes with like a third of a spray, doesn't look at it, and just immediately moves on. He just goes and just keeps walking. Like, the continuity is not there.
You know, this is about as much of a documentary as Mountain Monsters. That's all it is. This isn't for entertainment. I think, like I said earlier, I have no idea. I lean toward vampires aren't real. But like I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if there's not some kind of Chupacabra type cryptid actually that does suck the blood. I wouldn't be surprised.
Man, you sounded old on that one. That does suck the blood.
It does suck the blood. That smokes the pot.
You do one marijuanas and you'll be addicted.
Oh fuck no! But we're coming up to on 2 hours. I think.
Let's wrap it up.
We
both realistically think it's bullshit.
Yes. No, energy vampires. That's a different conversation.
Yeah, but that's.
But I think that's
just a term. You know what I mean?
But
like
some
everybody's
people,
like, "You're a vampire." Fuck you. No, they're just a guy. It's just a guy named Terry.
We are all good and bad at things, So some people might be even more sensitive to energy, and can suck more, and so that is more likely. If you want to talk about that, we can deal with that. But that's going to wrap up this week's episode. Don't forget, we're going to get out of here. We will be back next week. I don't know what day. Maybe Sunday, maybe Monday.
Until further notice, unless something changes, I have a 7-day work week.
Right.
Until further notice.
We are starting, we are putting up shorts. We're clipping these out, putting his little rants out on YouTube and other TikTok and other things. Now, for you Patreon members, we are grouping them together, and we are doing some Patreon-only shorts. I did post one up yesterday where it's like 5-6 minutes long of a bunch of our shorts that we've done, plus one that never made it to the public side of things, because we want to share some stuff just for the Patreon members. So head on over to Patreon if you want to become a subscriber at patreon.com/GITM podcast, and you can become a Patreon member and get access to those new videos and also other special features and other bonus material that isn't available on YouTube. I am going to we started about doing some backstage stuff when we are doing some of this editing, just like a camera, just recording.
Mm-hmm.
Give you guys a backstage look at us drinking and, shenanigans that go on.
You can always live stream that too on like Patreon or some shit.
I fucked up Patreon. You can do it, but I think I fucked up when I'm trying to set it up.
Excellent.
Doing
what we do best.
I had an old moment because that's what I wanted to do. Anyway. What else was I going to say?
Stuff. No. You want to close this out? We're going to go take a pee and make this fucking work call.
I'll close it out. You go.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah,
just
go
so
ahead.
I can get it out
go
of
ahead.
the way.
I can handle
Love
this.
you guys. Sorry, I got to go do job stuff.
But become a If you want to become a Patreon member, go ahead and go to, like I said, patreon.com/GITM podcast. Follow us on all the social medias. At Twitter as at @night_ghost. You can find us on. I thought I took the autofocus out. Follow us on Facebook at Ghost in the Night. TikTok, to those aforementioned shorts, you can find at GITN.podcast, and on Instagram at Ghost_Night_podcast. And always these for those people watching in the live stream, the YouTube shorts are there. Be sure to like those, and leave a positive comment. And that's going to wrap up this episode. I think next week we are doing the Bell Witch, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the next one on our agenda. So we will see you next week. Take care. We love you guys. And I hope Travis isn't destroying my freaking bathroom with his shit.